very good afternoon to Yang Berbahagia, Datuk Dr. Muhammad Yusoff Sulaiman, President and CEO of Malaysian Industry-Government Group for High Technology, or MITE, Professor Technologist Dr. Faidz Rahman, UTAR Vice President of R&D and Commercialisation, Professor Dr. Bimal Karani, Deputy Director of Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health, IFNH, from University of Reading, Ms. N²RTU, Head of Newton Fund and Science, British Council Malaysia, Dr. Muhammad Fairul Nizal bin Muhammad Noh, Head of Nutrition Metabolism and Cardiovascular Research Centre, Institute for Medical Research under the National Institutes of Health, NIH, Malaysia, Associate Professor Dr. Mahendran Apukuti, Vice President of Nutrition Society of Malaysia, Assistant Professor Dr. Eddie Chia, Chairperson of the Centre for Biomedical and Nutrition Research, CBNR, and those who are joining us online, especially Mr. Paul Inman, Pro-Vice Chancellor of University of Reading, United Kingdom, and Professor Ian Gibbons, Director of Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health from University of Reading, United Kingdom. Esteemed guests and representatives from N²RTU collaborative partners, UTAR staff, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to the Inception ceremony of Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit, or N²RTU. To begin today's event, let us watch a video presentation from UTAR. Thank you. Without further ado, I would like to invite Professor Technologist Dr. Faidz Rahman, UTAR Vice President of R&D and Commercialisation, to deliver his speech.
Thank you, Ali. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Muhammad Yusoff Sulaiman, President and CEO of the Malaysian Industry-Government Group for High Technology, MITE. Professor Dr. Bimal Karani, Deputy Director of Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health, University of Reading, Ms. N²RTU, Head of Newton Fund and Science, British Council Malaysia, Dr. Muhammad Fairul Nizal bin Muhammad Noh, Head of Nutrition, Metabolism and Cardiovascular Research Centre, Institute for Medical Research under the National Institutes of Health, Malaysia, Associate Professor Dr. Mahendran Apukuti, Vice President of Nutrition Society of Malaysia, Assistant Professor Dr. Eddie Chia, Chairperson of Centre for Biomedical and Nutrition Research, UTAR, and those who are joining us online, especially Mr. Paul Inman, Pro-Vice Chancellor International, University of Reading, Professor Ian Gibbons, Director, Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health, University of Reading, esteemed guests and representatives of the collaborative partners, UTAR staff, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the launching of the Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit, or in short, N²RTU, at UTAR. Thank you to all distinguished guests and esteemed partners for your kind presence and support. UTAR is indeed very honored to host the launching of the Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit under the Centre for Biomedical Nutrition Research UTAR. On behalf of UTAR, I also would like to take this opportunity to thank the British Council for providing the grant to set up this training unit. We understand the British Council offers numerous international funding opportunities to build relationships, share ideas and good practices, and globally connect collaborative initiatives to support economic and social growth. Thank you for your continued support. N²RTU is a new collaboration between UTAR and University of Reading, United Kingdom, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health Malaysia, Nutrition Society of Malaysia, and MoH as associate partners. UTAR is indeed very proud of this unique collaboration, and we look forward to our combined efforts together to make N²RTU an impactful research and training unit. This training unit will be the first of its kind in Malaysia, with focus on knowledge and technology transfer in the emerging field of Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics via research and also training. So my congratulations to all. In addition, this initiative is also aligned with the national key priority under the National Plan of Action for Nutrition Malaysia 2016 to 2025. It is guided by the Sustainable Development Goals and Malaysia's Shared Prosperity Vision 2030. Under this initiative, strategic partnerships with multi-stakeholders within Malaysia and the UK will be established, and funding will be sourced both locally and internationally to sustain the research and training unit activities. With the launching of the research and training unit, we believe it will strengthen Malaysian researchers and also healthcare practitioners to undertake Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics research in the areas of disease prevention and treatment. Under the research and training unit, we will also take the initiative to conduct various workshops related to medical, dietetics, food science, biomedical science, and biochemistry programs for Malaysian postgraduate students, researchers, and academics from local universities. Once again, UTAR is indeed glad to host the launching of this research and training unit. Thank you to all our esteemed associate partners and all participants to join this launching. Thank you, and stay safe and healthy. Thank you. Sorry, it's very difficult for me to breathe using this mask. Thank you.
Thank you to Prof Faidz. Next, I am pleased to invite Yang Berbahagia, Datuk Dr. Mohd Yusoff Sulaiman, President and CEO of MoH, to deliver his speech and officiate the inception of the Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit. Please welcome.
Can I? Because my voice is worse than yours. That's one thing I have against podium. Sometimes they seem to be taller than me, but I hope you can see me. And Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum salam sejahtera and a very good afternoon. Distinguished, respectable professors from both universities, UTAR and also from University of Reading. And also to our online joining us virtually from the University of Reading professors, both professors, and Sim from British Council. We've been working closely with her for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's good to see everyone physically. I think we were talking about that during before we coming here. How exciting it is now to actually come together physically and meet and talk with each other. Well, Alhamdulillah, I'm praised to be the Almighty that we are able to gather here today, again, physically, to witness the inception ceremony of the Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit, or in short called N²RTU, under the Centre of Biomedical and Nutrition Research of UTAR, as mentioned by Dr. Faidz. I'm a stranger to the two terms actually, but I think it has a lot of impact, importance. As mentioned during the break just now, that we have been looking at these non-communicable diseases issues in Malaysia, especially in regard to obesity, and maybe this research that's going to be done in this unit may help us to find out ways for us not to be considered obese nation again in the top of the world. So you may be looking at your work to solve some of these mysteries for Malaysia. Well, I'm deeply honored, I'm deeply appreciative of the invitation from the organizer for me to be here and to do these opening remarks. But the honor and this privilege also belongs to British Council, our partner in the many collaboration that we are doing to improve or to really excite researchers from both countries to do many amazing things. So it has been since 2014 that we have actually started the N²RTU Fund to bring together not only researchers but also industry partners to collaborate on developing meaningful research to face our to global challenges and those challenges that are in UK and also in Malaysia. And this program, the N²RTU, falls under a very specific program under the N²RTU Fund, which sometimes we pronounce it as NWOF. So if I do that, it means N²RTU Fund, which is the researcher environment links that is specific to do certain things in terms of providing financial support and collaborate, develop and sustain medium to long-term relationships under this particular program. So this is a new program that UTAR I think has benefited from 2 projects, and we hope that we can see the results in not in the far future. Now let me talk about NWOF a little bit, because this is a very, I think, in a way, one of the best practices in terms of research projects management, because it brings the variety, it brings the various level of competencies, expertise, knowledge from 2 different countries, you can say that. And it is truly a project that can be sustainable, that can always bring excitement if compared to you just work alone on yourself. So in many ways, the English proverb says 2 heads are better than 1. So I think it really shows from the N²RTU projects that we have seen for so many years. And because of this very successful model, for MITE, we have actually extended it to other countries. So we start one with Spain, we start another with Turkey, and then next month we'll start with Thailand, and going to Indonesia, using the same model, the same processes that we built together with British Council. It's very, very efficient. And sometimes I remind the colleagues in other ministries that are in charge of research and development, I said it only requires 2 staff of mine to manage that 20 million plus UK's another 20 million, 40 million ringgit fund every year. So you don't need about 40 or 50 people. Once you have a good process, 2 people can do the job. So when we look at these some of these projects, new projects now being started, we also look at some of the successes that have gone through North, and one of it is in the area of green data center. Harriet Watts and UTM actually come up with this submerged technology to cool servers and really reduce the usage of electricity in server rooms as compared before. So this actually is very good for the environment, it's good for the operator. You need less space, and you can actually do all these cooling activity even in a container. So what has come up from these research was that it is now being marketed, and the latest was a 30 million ringgit contract awarded to this company that is promoting and marketing this technology from a Japanese company. So what we are doing here, solving some of the issues and challenges in every area, can be turned into something commercializable and marketable in that sense. The other project under North that is also worth a mention is the development and operationalization of a city scale modeling system for the forecasting of disaster and hazard, which was done between University of Cambridge and UKM, which was actually used during the recent floods. But when we operate this system, I think it's also required that there are skilled people who can analyze the data and look at the data and etc. So the system was working very well, but the human factor needs to be further improved, and therefore that this system can, I see, to be operated in other states in the near future. So it helps a lot of authorities in dealing with natural disasters. So what we're seeing is that this program from North is having different impact on different parts of the lives and economy and everything else. At the same time, through the program, the North program, we have another spin-out called the Leaders in Innovation Fellowship, LIFT program, and we have actually trained and created 70 technopreneurs from this program. So this collaboration that we have is really creating results in all sorts of areas. I want to say a little bit about UTAR because I've been working quite closely with UTAR and especially with Dr. Faidz, Professor Lee Ziwei before, and Professor Tan Si Chua and Professor Yu. One of the programs that we were working on since 2014 was the Kuala Lumpur Engineering Science Fair, which is another way of getting youth, even public, to appreciate the STEM elements, the science, technology, engineering and mathematics knowledge. And we also go further into the ASEAN Academy of Engineering and Technology, which we serve to connect the various engineers and technologies from around the region. And I always find that the UTAR people, leaders especially, are very industrious, very creative, and really easy to work with. Advice, very hardworking people. And that is one of the reasons why many of the things that we do in collaboration with UTAR is very, very successful. So partnership is very, very important, and choosing the right partner is very key. That's why we also have British Council, as in. So there are a lot of programs that were started when the two science advisors from Malaysia was Tan Sri Zakri, and then from UK was Mark Walcott, actually met together in London and start to think about how Malaysia and UK can basically leverage on that rich number of people that have studied in UK and have their peers and their supervisors there, and create value from that relationship, not just leave it, but to be able to do research together, meet back and develop some good programs together. The other program that we do is called FameLab. If you know, it's like Britain's Got Talent, but for scientists to actually perform, explain what they're doing in layman's term for public to understand in 3 minutes. So you're doing it on Nutrigenomics, then you have to explain to the public in 3 minutes, very simple language, how what it means and how they can understand that and appreciate that. So all in all, I think this partnership arrangement is very, very important, and I think what we're trying to do is to nurture it further, make it more fertile. Last Sunday I was with His Excellency Charles Hay, the UK Commissioner to Malaysia, and said, the funding and everything else may change over time, but let's keep the foundation strong, and whatever happens, we continue to make this program sustainable. And I'm so glad he agreed to that, because we feel that there's more areas that we can actually work together under this partnership, and we can actually learn a lot from each other as we go along. So, like Dr. Faidz, my hope is that the unit will actually be active and could be transformed into a very meaningful unit for Malaysia and also for the region in the areas of Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics, hopefully. So on that note, I would like to wish researchers from both universities, UTAR and University of Reading, all the best, and create a success story for yourself and also for the whole partnership. So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Dr. Yusoff. Please remain on the stage for the launch. Next, I would like to invite Prof Faidz, Prof Vimal and Ms. Ian Sim to join Dr. Yusoff on the stage for the launching. At the count of 3, Dr. Yusoff will hit the gong 3 times to launch the Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit is now officially launched. Congratulations. Next, I would like to invite our esteemed guests from the front row to join our esteemed guests on the stage for a group photo. Thank you to Dr. Yusoff and our esteemed guests. Please be seated. Next, we are pleased to invite Mr. Paul Inman, the Pro Vice Chancellor of International from University of Reading, UK, who will deliver his message live through Zoom. But before that, I have a brief introduction of Mr. Paul Inman. As a Pro Vice Chancellor International, Paul Inman, it's kind of dark. Paul Inman leads on global engagement and international student recruitment. He is developing strategies to strengthen the University of Reading international profile and expand its global connections. Actively lead local community engagement, championing cross-team partnership project working to ensure the university takes appropriate actions informed by its global thinking. He is also a member of the University Executive Board, and outside of the academia, He enjoyed success as a political campaigner, filmmaker, and television producer. Please welcome Mr. Paul Inman.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. It's always strange from thousands and thousands of miles away listening in. So thank you for inviting me to say a few words at the start. The University of Reading, really we're building a world-class university. Just a little bit about the university. We're 150 years old and we started life as an extension college of Oxford University. Today, we've got about 22,000 students studying at the university, and they're studying all around the world, not just in the UK, and they represent probably around just under 200, they come from around about 200 different countries. We're very much a research-intensive university with 98% of our research internationally recognised. And when you look at the rankings, because we all do these days, we're in the top 200 universities that are ranked globally, and we're always in the top 100 of the ranking of International Outlook. So we're very proud of our kind of global presence. And of course you'll be aware of that because we have a campus at Johor in Malaysia that's been open for 5-6 years. We also have a physical presence in China, in Jiangsu province, in a relationship with N²RTU, where we run the N²RTU Reading Academy. Our business school, Henley Business School, has a physical presence in Joburg, Johannesburg in South Africa. So the importance of our global work should really go without overstating. On a personal level, I've worked in Malaysia for many years, and actually at one stage did some work with UTAR, so that was really nice to see an up-to-date version of the UTAR's corporate showreel. I think the other honourable speakers have said similar things. The success of all these initiatives, especially in the area of research, is about trust between partners. It's about having good expectations, excellent expectations of what you can achieve. But I think what's really important, what you see with this particular project, is that it's also about the relationship between two different countries, but also it encompasses the government of Malaysia, but also the government departments of Malaysia, but also industry. And that link in terms of applied research, because most of our research these days is all about wanting to help the world to help itself and to change and being partnered with the planet. And that's very much along our guiding principles at the University of Reading. So, I mean, it was kind of interesting. The mentions of the British Council, which is really good to hear. I was with the new Chief Executive, Scott MacDonald, Chief Executive of British Council in Moscow a couple of weeks ago. We had the chance to speak for a couple of hours on the importance of partnership work. And we were talking a little bit about some of the things we were doing in Southeast Asia. It was really nice to be able to give a name check for this particular research project, but also just to remind everybody that the Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health at the University of Reading for many years has been doing some amazing work. And so in terms of having a good partner, in terms of an institute from the University of Reading, you have one of our best. So that's really good. What I hope will happen is that we'll be able to build on this. I'm very interested in that the University of Reading is doing more research in Malaysia. We don't do enough, and I realise that, so I'm saying this now publicly, that I would like to follow up to build on this project. And Ian, I know we'll talk about it a little bit, but he's very good at building on one research project, followed by another research project, always an eye to what will happen next. And that's really, really, really important. So I hope you note that, and it's worth pointing out, I'm also a member of the executive of the newly formed UK University Overseas Campus network. And so working with the other, main four of the UK universities in Malaysia, but also other UK universities who are operating in and around Malaysia, just to lobby government in Malaysia and also in the UK about how important it is to have that physical presence to enable us to do live labs, actually research labs in country. Anyway, probably enough for me. First of all, sorry, to end, just thank you for inviting me, and it's really nice to say a few words from the UK early in the morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Paul Inman. Also giving his message live through Zoom is Prof Ian Gibbons, the Director of Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health of the University of Reading, UK. A brief introduction of Prof Ian Gibbons. He is a member of UK Food Standards Agency Advisory Committee, holding a Vice Chair position, Scientific Advisory Committee of the British Nutrition Foundation, Advisory Committee of the Institute for Food and Health, University College Dublin, International Chair on Cardiometabolic Risk, member of Panel on Dietary Lipids, European Healthy Lifestyle Alliance, member of Panel on Obesity, International Expert Movement to Improve Dietary Fat Quality, and member for the Scientific Council of Biocompetence Centre for Healthy Dairy Products, Estonia. Please welcome Professor Ian Gibbons.
Thank you very much for that introduction, and good afternoon, everyone. Even though it's morning here, of course, with us. Can I just also start by thanking the organisers and the sponsors of this, what I think is really an exciting opening event, for giving me the opportunity just to say a few words this afternoon. It's much appreciated. I'm really pleased about this project because it, amongst other things, it provides us with a new link between UTAR and IFNH, our institute. And of course, as I think Paul has just said, such partnerships as this, are really, really important to us. They give us new opportunities. They give us new opportunities for collaboration. And in particular, they allow the exchange of new information between partners, which I think, has helped both partners. And I think it's really important. Indeed, I think that the exchange or the sharing of new information is really an important feature of our great challenges, really, of reducing ill health, around the world. I think that's really, really crucial. Of course, as we've heard, this new collaboration is about the new sciences in many ways of nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics. And as I'm sure you know, and there's now good evidence that these new sciences can provide a much better understanding of the association, if you like, between diet and health. We've traditionally had a relatively traditional, I suppose, approach to that. Looking at studies which looked at the association between a particular diet or a particular food and the long-term health outcome. But now having these new tools that can actually tell us much more about that relationship, and it can help us, I think, devise techniques which will allow dietary change to really improve health. And I think that's really, really important for the future. Indeed, I think we believe anyway that this technology will eventually play a real significant part in what you might call integrated medicine and healthcare, around the world, hopefully. So with those few words, I would just like to say thank you for the opportunity to have a few minutes. I really do look forward to seeing the activities of the project, and I think also really to look forward also in due course to the role this project might play in improving health aspects across the whole of Malaysia and maybe even beyond that. So thank you very much again for the opportunity, and I hope that the rest of the ceremony goes really well, as it has so far. Thank you.
Thank you to Professor Ian Gibbons. Next, we will have Ms. Jazril Gore, the Director of British Council Malaysia, but unfortunately she cannot join us, but she has prepared a pre-recorded video for us. But before that, a brief introduction from Ms. Jazreel Goh. She is a specialist in international education with over 12 years experience. She leads the East Asia Consulting Team and is an expert in socio-economics research and marketing consultancy. And in 2011, she set up British Council's Education Intelligence Unit, the first e-marketing platform dedicated to international education research for the global industry. And she is also currently leading a team of 23 across 4 business units, including education intelligence, communications, market development, and alumni. Please welcome Ms. Jazreel Goh.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jazreel Goh, Director, British Council, Malaysia. I would like to congratulate Dr. Danapal, Malaysian lead researcher from University Tunku Abdul Rahman, and Professor Satana Krishnan, UK lead researcher from University of Reading, for launching the Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit at University Tunku Abdul Rahman, Malaysia. We are extremely proud to be part of this exciting journey by funding the Malaysia-UK collaborative project through our Research Environmental Links grant. I do hope that this training unit charts a new milestone in nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics research in Malaysia. Once again, my heartiest congratulations.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as a way to express our gratitude to the esteemed partners, I would like to invite UTAR Vice President Prof Faidz, accompanied by Dr. Eddie Chia, to present the tokens of appreciation to our esteemed partners. First and foremost, I am happy to invite Yang Berbahagia Datuk Dr. Mohd Yusoff Sulaiman, President of CEO of the Malaysian Industry-Government Group for High Technology. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Vimal Karani, Deputy Director of Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health, IFNH, University of Reading. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Kwek Yang Sim, Head of Newton Fund and Science, British Council, Malaysia. Next, I am pleased to invite Ms. Zeti Akmal binti Tajuddin, Assistant Vice President of MoH. Next, I'm happy to invite Dr. Muhammad Fairul Nizal bin Muhammad Noor, Head of Nutrition, Metabolism and Cardiovascular Research Centre, Institute for Medical Research under the National Institutes of Health, Malaysia. Next, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Mahendran Abdulkuti, Vice President of Nutrition Society of Malaysia. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Aswir bin Abdul Rashid from Institute for Medical Research, Malaysia. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Ahmad Ali Zainuddin, Scientific Officer for Nutrition and Epidemiology Research Centre, Ministry of Health. Sorry. Next, I would like to invite Puan Kimberly Wong, Technical Working Group of Nutrition Division from Ministry of Health. Last but not least, I would like to invite Puan Siti Munira Binti Kamal from Food Safety Division, Ministry of Health. Now I would like to invite Dr. Eddie Chia to present a token of appreciation to Prof Faidz. Thank you to Prof Faidz and Dr. Chia. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I will pass the microphone to Dr. Anna Lechmi from the Faculty of Science, who will be the MC for the rest of this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anna Leshmi, the member of N²RTU, and will continue from here. I take a great pleasure in inviting Professor Dr. Vimal Karani, the United Kingdom Principal Investigator, to give his talk on paving the way to precision nutrition through Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics in Malaysia. Before I pass the floor to Prof Iman, let me take the honor to introduce Prof Iman. Prof Iman is a professor in Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics and the Deputy Director of Institute of Food, Nutrition and Health at the University of Reading, United Kingdom. He won the UK Nutrition Society Silver Medal Award in 2020 for his contribution to the world of global nutrition. He has initiated a large-scale collaborative project called Gene-Nutrient Interaction Collaboration, known as Genome Collaboration, that aims to develop a personalized nutrition program based on the evidence from nutrigenetics, nutrigenomics, and dietary intervention studies using cohorts from various ethnic groups across all continents. His research interests include investigation of gene-nutrient interactions, on metabolic and cardiovascular disease-related outcomes, using combined approaches from genetic epidemiology, statistical genetics, and molecular biology. Without further ado, I now pass the mic to Prof Iman.
Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Okay, fine. So I take this opportunity to thank some of my colleagues at the University of Reading. So one is Mr. Paul Inman, who's a Pro Vice Chancellor International, and also Professor Ian Gibbons, who's a Deputy Director of the Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health, and who have been the key pillars of support in terms of implementing this Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics unit at the UTAR. So for the next few minutes, what I'm going to do is basically give a brief overview about paving the way to precision nutrition through nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics approaches in Malaysia. So for those who do not have a background in genetics and nutrigenetics, so I'm just going to give an overview about overview about nutrigenetic aspects. So, gene-environment interactions. So in today's world, obesity has given to science a new dimension to delve into changing lifestyle factors and a fast-forward urban outlook on life has resulted in a dramatic increase in the incidence of obesity worldwide. But the advanced scientific technology that we have today has indicated that it all started at the beginning of life when the gene first comes into being. So it's basically the interaction between the genetic and the lifestyle factors which contributes to the development of cardiometabolic diseases such as obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. So that's why we say genes load the gun, but the environment pulls the trigger. So this metaphor clearly explains the intricate interplay between the genes and the lifestyle factors. So even if you have a high genetic risk, you can still overcome that genetic risk by modifying your lifestyle, which is basically your diet and your physical activity. So with this background, so what is nutrigenetics and what is nutrigenomics? So nutrigenetics refers to the study of the impact of the genetic variations on chronic diseases such as obesity in response to a particular diet. For example, if I have a high genetic risk and I'm consuming completely an unhealthy diet, so what is the risk of becoming obese? In order to understand that question, you need to study the interaction between your genetic risk and your dietary intake. And this study of the gene-diet interaction is what you call as a nutrigenetic study. Whereas nutrigenomics is a completely different area of research. So where you're trying to understand how the diet you're consuming, the food that you're consuming has got all the nutrients like macronutrients and micronutrients. So these nutrients eventually are getting absorbed in each and every cell in your body, and these nutrients are entering inside the cell and reaching your DNA and interacting with your DNA and converting the DNA to proteins, and these proteins are the reasons like why we all look different from each other and which is contributing to the phenotypic differences. I look different from you and you look different from the person sitting right next to you. And these phenotypic differences can be partly attributed to the differences in your genetic makeup. And this is the underlying reason on which we do nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics studies. And findings from nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics are essential for the implementation of the personalized nutrition. And findings from nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics are essential for the implementation of the personalized nutrition. So what is personalized nutrition? It's nothing but where you're developing an optimum diet for an individual based on that individual's genetic makeup. So in terms of implementing these nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics studies, I started this collaborative effort which is called as a genuine collaboration. Genuine stands for the gene-nutrient interactions. It's been 8 years since I started this collaborative network under the IFNH at the University of Reading. So the main objective of this genuine collaboration is to implement nutrigenetic studies for the first time in contrasting ethnic groups. So there are a lot of studies which have been carried out in western part of the world, in the UK, US and European countries, but what's happening in the developing parts of the world, what is happening in lower middle income countries. So that was the main aim why I started this genuine collaboration. So the first nutrigenetic study was implemented in the Indian population, then in Sri Lanka, in Indonesia, in Brazilian population, in Ghanaian, that is a West African population, West Asian, which is in the Turkish population, then Peruvian population. And these are some of the other studies which are happening in other lower middle income countries, in addition to the ongoing collaborations in developed parts of the world, and these are some of the publications from the genuine collaboration. And this is exactly the reason why I'm here in Malaysia at the moment. So to implement nutrigenetic study for the first time in Malaysia, and also to implement capacity building component to carry out various research activities pertaining to nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics. So one of the most important findings from the genuine collaboration is that, as mentioned in the beginning, even if you have a high genetic risk, you can overcome the genetic risk by modifying your lifestyle. So all my studies have clearly highlighted the fact that the healthy lifestyle can overcome the genetic risk of heart disease, not just the heart disease, but also with diabetes and also for obesity. So various studies have clearly highlighted the point that even if you carry a very, very high genetic risk, you can still overcome that genetic risk by modifying your dietary lifestyle and also improving your physical activity levels. So how are we going to translate these findings to precision nutrition or personalized nutrition? So in terms of looking at the health status of an individual, so it is not just the dietary intake or physical activity which is determining the health of an individual. Sorry, what is... Should I close? Yeah, thank you. So in terms of looking at the health status of an individual, it is not just the dietary exposure, but also various other intrinsic factors which are contributing to the development of diseases such as obesity or diabetes or cardiovascular disease. So these factors include your genome, proteome, transcriptome, epigenome, metabolome, and microbiome. So just to make it very simple, like the DNA that you carry, your genetic makeup, the genetic makeup is coding for the proteins, and these proteins are being converted to metabolites. And also like you have the gut lumen, like where the diet, the food that you're consuming, it's interacting with the gut microorganisms and contributing to various physiological activities. So in terms of identifying a personalized diet for an individual, you need to take into consideration of all these factors together. But the key challenge over here is, how are we going to integrate all this information, all the omics approaches along with your diet, your physical activity level, your genetic makeup? So how are we going to integrate this? So for which we definitely need something called as an artificial intelligence platform. So that's exactly where we got to use the machine learning approaches, which will develop algorithms and logistic models to implement the personalized diet. So this is exactly the transition that we are aiming to implement in Malaysian population. But like, why Malaysia? So what is so important and what's happening in Malaysia in terms of looking at chronic diseases such as obesity or diabetes or cardiovascular disease? So Malaysia has been shown to have the highest prevalence of obesity among adults, especially taking into consideration of the Southeast Asian countries. And in 2019, according to that National Health and Morbidity Survey, nearly 50% of the adult population were reported to be either overweight or obese. And thirdly, nearly 30% of the type 2 diabetic patients were shown to be clinically obese. And last but not least, the most important point, which is that the conservative estimate of diabetes and cardiovascular disease is nearly about 70 billion ringgits, which is equivalent to about 5.1% of Malaysia's gross domestic product in the same year, so which is the data from the year 2017. So given all these factors, that's the whole reason why we started with this Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics training and research unit. So that is why we applied for this particular project, and thanks to British Council and MoH for providing funds to implement this project. And I'm just going to go through briefly about like what we are planning to do, and more details will be given by Dr. Anto Cordelia, like who's the Malaysian principal investigator. So as part of this project, we are going to develop a web portal as an information gateway for this particular unit. And also we are going to promote the unit to various multi-stakeholders, like including government organizations and policymakers, nutritionists, dietitians, and also to the physicians and clinicians through social media. And also we are going to design a prototype for planning and implementation of the N²RTU unit, because the aim of this genuine collaboration as a whole is basically to implement such units in several lower middle income countries, and developing and designing a prototype of this particular unit will be helpful for other lower middle income countries to follow the same pattern and prevent obesity and diabetes. And another important aspect about this project is basically to develop capacity building. So as part of the capacity building component, we are conducting 3 important activities. So one is a workshop 1, which will be focusing on hands-on skill experience for participants who will be joining this workshop on statistical nutrigenetics and data analysis, because data science and data analysis is going to be the future in terms of developing all the algorithms for developing or implementing personalized diet. And second workshop will be like how to translate the findings from nutrigenetics to nutrigenomics to proteomics and eventually to precision nutrition. And thirdly, we will be conducting a dissemination activity towards the end of the project, which will be about the When Science Meets Society program, which will be focusing on personalized nutrition, that is bringing awareness to the public on personalized nutrition, because bringing awareness to the public is a key challenge, because without understanding of nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics, we will not be in a position, or the country or the government will not be in a position to make them understand the utilities and the advantages of going through that personalized nutrition program. So on this note, I would like to thank you all so much, and thanks to the funders, once again, British Council and MoH for providing funds to carry out this activity, and thanks to UTAR and the entire N²RTU team for making this a successful event, and thanks once again.
Thank you, Prof, for introducing Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics and its impact towards precision nutrition in the most effective and simple way. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to implement N²RTU under Centre for Biomedical and Nutrition Research, UTAR, and I would like to invite CBNR Chairperson and member of N²RTU, Dr. Eddie Chia, and Malaysia Principal Investigator, Dr. N²Cordelia, to enlighten us on the implementation of N²RTU. Dr. Eddie Chia and Dr. N², you may please share the floor now. Welcome.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, Dr. Anna, for the kind introduction. Good evening to all esteemed VIPs, ladies and gentlemen. Salam sejahtera. It is a privilege and a great honor for us to present on implementation of N²RTU under the Centre for Biomedical and Nutrition Research, UTAR. This is indeed a significant milestone and a history in making for the research centre and the university. We are extremely grateful to the British Council for funding this exciting initiative, and to Mike for the great support. Please allow me to share some background of the Centre for Biomedical and Nutrition Research at this point. CBNR is one of UTAR's newest research centres, which was established in January 2021. Our goal is to bring together the university's researchers with expertise across various biomedical and nutrition domains to advance R&D initiatives pertaining to improvement of human health and well-being. We are also committed to capacity building and establishing partnerships in biomedical and nutrition sciences, and the N²RTU implementation is a testament to this.
Recording in progress.
CBNR's research focus and strengths are organized into 7 areas, of which 2 are dedicated to community and therapeutic nutrition. We recently have a research cluster set up to solely focus on nutrition and dietetics. We envisage for nutrition research to be one of our major strengths in years to come, and the N²RTU implementation is a significant step towards our ambition. Despite the obstacles of the pandemic, CBNR's first year has been fruitful and eventful, attributed to the hard work of our dedicated members. We are motivated by the research achievements made to date, the collaboration established along the way, like the collaboration with University of Reading, and the many activities that we have organized for the benefit of the profession and the society at large. One worth mentioning is a seminar on nutrition in which Prof Karani was one of the speakers, which led to the N²RTU initiative and other exciting projects in the planning. The N²RTU implementation is without doubt a shining star on the CBNR Wall of Fame. As what Prof Faidz highlighted in his welcome message, we are extremely proud that N²RTU is the first of its kind in the country to solely focus on capacity building in the field of nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics. With this, I would like to pass the honor to Dr. Anto Cordelia, the Malaysia PI for this project, to share more details on N²RTU implementation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Eddie. Respected luminaries, my fellow N²RTU team, and all the members and staff of UTAR, the media and the press, and the representatives from our various associate partners. A very good evening to one and all. Let me tell you how this N²RTU came into existence. Well, as all the Western countries were shifting towards nutrigenetics approach, Malaysia is still in its infancy stage, where there is lack of evidence or nutrigenetics data, and we have less researchers who are experts in nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics. So that creates a data gap. So when we want to move towards personalized nutrition, so that is how Prof Ian proposed to start this unit, and we applied for this BC-REL grant that came at the right time. So the main objective of this N²RTU is to strengthen partnerships and capacity building with transfer of technology and knowledge in the emerging science of nutrigenetics and nutrigenomics. So with that, we plan, and this initiative is well in line with the National Plan of Action for Nutrition, as well as with the Sustainable Development Goals. And in future, we would like this unit to have more members, and then we will try to implement this unit and training and workshops extended to all the academia, industry, as well as our other partners, and create an independent research center at UTAR, because right now this is part under CBNR. And we may sound very ambitious because we wanted to take it to next level to acquire a professional body status for this N²RTU and extend this training and workshops to our partner countries in the Southeast Asia. So this is what we plan, and this is our roadmap for the next 10 years. An old saying goes, well begun is half done. So I hope with the support of all our collaborative partners, we take this to the next level, and we hope we succeed in our mission to move towards precision nutrition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edicha and Dr. Anto Cordelia, for the wonderful introduction of CBNR and N²RTU. Ladies and gentlemen, with us, we have our associate partners, and I would like to invite them to deliver their key role in the implementation of N²RTU. For that, I would like to call upon Ms. Prof Ian Gibbons, the Head of Newton Fund and Science, British Council Malaysia, to deliver her speech.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. To those who are in this hall and those who join us in the UK. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this launching ceremony. And I'm very glad that I'm here today in this event to witness an important milestone for Malaysia in the field of Nutrigenetics, genetics and Nutrigenomics. So this term is pretty new to me, even though I'm in the science field. I think that is actually a great milestone that you are trying to achieve here today. The British Council is the United Kingdom's international organization for cultural relations and international educational opportunities. So such as these programs, the research environment links that we are talking here today by Datuk Yusoff, is one of the British Council's programs under a wider international programs called Going Global Partnerships. As what Datuk Yusoff mentioned earlier, these programs, Research Environment Links, is built on the Newton Unko Omar Fund that were previously worked very closely with MIT back in 2014 all the way until now. Partnerships and connections are actually two of the key values for the work that we are doing in both UK and other countries, including Malaysia. The Research Environment Link grants in particular is to support capacity building and strengthening, as well as the collaboration activities by bringing higher education and research institutions in the UK and partner countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Egypt, Turkey to work together in these emerging areas of development. We funded 4 projects, and with the match resources from MIT, we are able to top up and fund an additional 2 projects, making it a total of 6. So I would say that this is the synergy of partnership and collaboration. So today, I'm here again, once again, to congratulate the team in UTAR and also University of Reading. From all of us here at the British Council, we wish the team all the best and hope the Research and Training Unit brings great development to the field of Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics in both Malaysia and UK. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kwek, for the wonderful message and beautiful wishes. I now would invite Dr. Mohd Khairul Nizal Mohd No, the Head of Nutrition, Metabolism and Cardiovascular Research Centre, Institute Medical Research, who is also an associate member under this grant, to share the role of IMR in N²RTU.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good evening and good morning for those online from UK. Okay, I am Dr. Mohd Khairul Nizal, the Head of Division Metabolism and Cardiovascular Research Centre, Institute for Medical Research, IMR, and on behalf of IMR Director, Dr. Tahir Arif, and IMR is a part of National Institutes of Health, NIH, Ministry of Health, Malaysia would like to congratulate UTAR for the inception of the Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research and Training Unit, N²RTU, under the Centre for Biomedical and Nutrition Research, CBNR. And I would like to congratulate both Dr. Anto as well as Prof Iman from the University of Reading, UK, for the success in receiving the prestigious British Council Research Environmental Links grant to implement the N²RTU in Malaysia as part of Going Global Partnership initiative by the British Council. I'm at NIH as an associate partner in the N²RTU, and with our close relationship with Nutrition Division as well as Food Safety Division, Ministry of Health, we will involve in planning and implementation of N²RTU, especially with respect to ethics, policy and societal impact. We will also support N²RTU disseminate knowledge to the NIH and member of Ministry of Health, especially Public Health Division. And we hope this engagement will help to promote the nutrigenetic research and approach and bridge the gap in nutrigenetics data that is required for policy making in Malaysia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mohd Khairul Nizal. We look forward to more collaboration with IMR. I now would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Mahendran Apukute, Vice President of Nutrition Society of Malaysia, to deliver his message. Welcome.
It's quite tall enough for me. Thank you. Thank you to the organizer, Anto, and the University Tunku Rahman for organizing this. Nutrition Society of Malaysia was invited on behalf of me. Dr. T. Siong should be here. He's 75 years old today, and he's there in the house and looking from the online session. And for those who are in UK and Malaysia, a lot of people on council are there. Nutrition Society has been here for 37 years in Malaysia, and we have been contributing to a lot of work in nutrition. And definitely, when we talk about nutrigenetic, nutrigenomics, it's a beginning. Prof Ian has mentioned about it. There's so many things that are being studied, and Anto has mentioned about it. It's in an infancy stage, and I think this is the right time. I must thank MoH and British Council for giving the support. And this is another platform, like what mentioned by Dr. Eddie, on the leadership transform and lead passing over to the younger groups. This is capacity building, which is an NSM have a major role to do. And we work in many angles, from children to the adults. Food is always important. I think one of the Prof Iman's slide, he talks about the food, and I think today we've given also fruits. So this is all an important role, and I'm sure that we will have no more issue of the obesity soon, hopefully, definitely. I take this opportunity, even though a year old, the Centre for Biomedical and Nutrition Research of UTAR, who started a year last year during this COVID pandemic, and they got very much ideas, and they started and they worked together with the golden time with British Council, with the MoH help, and they got a grant for work together. And together with us is IMR, which is also Dr. T worked there in IMR for many years ago. And IMR is a big thing for nutrition area. And NSM is very strong in this country for helping younger nutritionists, and also working together, all universities, research institutes, irrespective of their work and research. If we can do, we will help. That's definitely. And I thank the organizing committee all for the support. And if NSM can help, definitely we will come forward and pass over the nutritionists in this country to know about how important is nutrigenetic and nutrigenomics in the application. It also should be taught in the universities, in the programs and everything. It's a new things coming up, so people will take part of it and understand. And Nutrition Society definitely will work together with this group and bring up the understanding and helpful for the NCD issues. There's some major issues that I think Datuk mentioned about it, and we hope we can overcome this thing. If you have any questions, any regarding about Nutrition Society of Malaysia, please come forward to our website, and we are willing to work together with all the institute research way of understanding it. So in a way of taking care of health, is always food is important. So without food, we can't do much of the work. And Nutrition Society, in that way, we will work and help the individuals research, definitely, because our objective is to disseminate the rightful facts and figures on nutrition, and also taking care for the understanding of all communities, from the child to the elderly group. So this is what will be our role, and as the associate partners, we will work together for as much as we could in a way of understanding. So with that, I will end my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahinjan. It is a pleasure to be associated with the Nutrition Society of Malaysia. I now take a pleasure in inviting Associate Professor Dr. Yong Tian Kok the Director of Institute Postgraduate Studies and Research, UTAR, to give his closing remarks. Dr. Yong, the floor is yours.
Okay, yang bahagia, Datuk Dr. Yusoff Sulaiman, as President and the CEO of mine, my boss, Professor Dr. Faidz, UTAR Vice President, our honored guest, Professor Dr. Rahman, currently. Thank you very much for your time. Flying all the way from UK to join us in this launching ceremony. Ms. Greg from British Council, and our associate partner, Dr. Mohd from NIH, and also associate professor, Dr. Mohd from Nutrition Society of Malaysia. And our center chair, Dr. Eddie, and all those joining us virtually, online, to our Prof Vice Chancellor International from the University of Reading, Mr. Paul Inman, and also Professors Ian Gibbons from University of Reading, our esteemed guests and prospective representative from the N²RTU, cooperative partner, our colleague from UTAR, either presently physically or online. Okay, a very good evening. So now we come to the end of this launching. So it's indeed a great pleasure for UTAR to host these launchings of this N²RTU. So this is the first ever research and the training unit in Malaysia in the field of nutrition. So the implementations of this N²RTU has come at the right time as Malaysia is working towards reducing the incidence of obesity and associated health risk, as just now mentioned by Prof Ian. So this is also one of the targets of our National Plan of Action for the Nutrition to be achieved by the year 2030. So also just now have been shared by Prof Ian. So you highlighted that Malaysia has been the nations of the diverse populations, okay? With a multi-ethnic population, practice of their own foods, cultures, and also each of them have their unique foods ratio of practices. So hence, it's common dietary interventions may not be very suitable for the general population. So to practice a personalized nutrition and eventually to paving way to have this precision nutrition, which require a lot of data integrating of the multidisciplinary approaches. Okay, so UTAR take pride in taking this first initiative by implementing this N²RTU to train our local researchers or into regions to generate or interpret and integrated data. So thereby to strengthening the evidence and also setting up a pathway towards personalized and precision nutrition are very important. So I would like to record my sincere gratitude to British Councils and also Mike in your support in implementing this N²RTU at UTAR. So I would like to take the opportunities to thank our UKPI, Prof again, for spearheading these projects, and also the associate partner, Dr. Mohd from NIH, and Dr. Mohd from the National Nutrition Society of Malaysia, and also the entire team from the N²RTU for your first step toward greater success. So I hope that this initiative will work hand in hand with Ministry of Health, also from the Nutrition Society of Malaysia, our UK partner, University of Reading, and all the relevant stakeholders, and also maybe the policy makers later to train our young and also the early career researcher, our academics, and also the partner from the industry, so that they can really engage and encourage to take up this nutrient genetics and nutrigenomics research to help the nation move toward the precision nutrition, which are very important to our country. So I thank to all the esteemed guests who graced at this occasion with the physical and also the virtual presence. And congratulations again to our N²RTU team for implementing these units, research and training units for the betterment of the people and the society, especially to Malaysia. As such, I wish the entire team good luck and in all your future activities. So thank you. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yong, for the kind wishes. On behalf of Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research Training Unit, I now call upon the Malaysian Principal Investigator, Dr. N²RTU, to propose the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Annalakshmi. Respected dignitaries gracing this occasion with your esteemed presence, both physically and virtually, our partners from MoH, NSM, MIT, and British Council, staff and students of UTAR, members of Team N²RTU, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it a pleasure to propose a formal vote of thanks. First and foremost, I thank God Almighty for His abundant blessings throughout this event. I record my sincere thanks to Yang Berbahagia Dr. Mohd Yusoff Sulaiman, President and CEO of MIT, for graciously accepting our invitation and inaugurating N²RTU amidst his busy schedule. Thank you, Datuk. My deep sense of gratitude goes to Prof. Dr. Faidz bin Ahmed Rahman, UTAR Vice President for Research, Development and Commercialization, for his encouragement and motivation towards the successful inception of N²RTU. Thank you, Prof. Faidz. I owe my heartiest thanks to our guests from University of Reading, United Kingdom, Mr. Paul Inman, Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Reading, and Prof Ian Gibbons, Director, Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health, and member of N²RTU, for their wonderful message and participation at this special occasion. Thank you, Mr. Paul Inman and Prof Ian Gibbons. My heartfelt thanks goes to Ms. Jasril Goh, Director, British Council Malaysia, for her warm felicitations. It's my privilege to thank the Vice President of MIT, the Assistant Vice President, and representatives from different departments of MoH for your august presence. My thanks are due to Ms. Sim, Head Newton Fund and Science, British Council Malaysia, for her omnipresence and message. Thank you so much, Ms. Sim, for your kind support towards N²RTU. I place on accord my heartfelt gratitude to both our associate partners, Dr. Muhammad Fairul Nizar, Head of Nutrition, Metabolism and Cardiovascular Research Centre, Institute of Medical Research, NIH Malaysia, and Associate Professor Dr. Mahendran Apukuti, Vice President to Nutrition Society of Malaysia, for the active participation, involvement, and suggestions right from drafting the proposal and until now. I sincerely hope our collaboration keep going and together we achieve this mission. I would like to thank Dr. T. Ee Seong, who is celebrating his 75th birthday today, and for his active involvement and suggestions in supporting us. My profound gratitude to Associate Professor Dr. Yong Tien Kok, Director of IPSR, for his unfailing support in all aspects in achieving this grant. I have disturbed you with my messages, calls, and emails, at all hours, and you have always answered them with utmost patience. Your constant encouragement is our biggest strength. Thank you, Dr. Yong, and we will continue to trouble you in future as well. Mr. Ahmad Rasif, the Manager to President of MIND, who was our strongest link and helped us with all communications in this project. I'm sorry for all the trouble that I keep giving you, and thank you so much for your many help rendered. To all the supporting staff from various departments of UTAR Sungai Long Campus, starting with Dr. Tan, Ms. Ong, Mr. Chin, Mr. David Chan, Mr. Huang, Ms. Rebecca, Ms. Karen, Ms. Wanru, Ms. Adeline, and our MC, Mr. Ali, Mr. Fu, our technical assistants, Kau Ki Keng, and Che Nakudin, Mr. Yap, Ms. Nurul for the good refreshments, and all other support staff for their unfailing help rendered in the successful conduct of this ceremony. Our thanks to the press and media partners for their wide coverage. And to all the team members, you have been a pillar of support from proposal drafting until this moment and in the future as well. Thank you all so much for being the best team members. And finally, the brain behind the inception of N²RTU, Prof Vimal Karani, without whom this N²RTU would not have been possible. His vast and rich experience in the field of Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics has turned out to be a blessing to Malaysians to kickstart Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics research with partnership from Ministry of Health and Nutrition Society of Malaysia. Thank you so much, Prof, for the trust and confidence you bestowed on UTAR team and made it possible in the best way. I know you took too much of trouble to travel to Malaysia, and I hope with your guidance and training, we shall take our first step towards precision nutrition. To all participants present both physically and virtually, from far and wide, and our own UTAR staff and students for gracing this occasion. In spite of surging COVID-19 cases and with very short notice, all of you have made it possible, and you are very kind and very responsive in our activities. Thank you all so much. Kindly apologize if I have missed out any names, and please, it is purely unintentional. Thank you all for being very supportive audience. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Dr. N²RTU. And then now I would like to invite for a group photo. Okay, I invite all the participants to stand up in your respective places while the esteemed guests to remain seated for the group photo. Over to you, Mr. Kenny. For the loud gesture, that brings the curtain down for this Inception of Nutrigenetics and Nutrigenomics Research Training Unit. It's our pleasure to have your presence. On behalf of organizer, kindly apologize for any shortcomings and be looking forward to seeing you again in future activities. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you. Nandri, terima kasih.